The BRICS alliance, Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa, along with new members, is changing global trade and finance. Donald Trump, he will face serious challenges from the BRICS. His policies could impact trade and the US dollar and America's influence in the world. Let's break that down. What this means and how Trump's approach might shape Trump's trade policy versus the BRICS. One of Trump's biggest concerns is keeping America strong in global trade. BRICS is pushing back against the US dominance, which could lead to a tough trade war. Tariffs threats. Trump has said he might impose 100% tariff on goods from the BRICS countries if they try to replace the US dollar with their own currency. This would make imports from the BRICS nations much more expensive for American consumers and businesses. Possible consequences if Trump does this: BRICS nations could fight back by placing their own tariffs on US goods. This could hurt the American farmers, manufacturers, and businesses that rely on selling products overseas. The impact on US allies. Some BRICS countries like India and Brazil have strong trade ties with the US. They will have to decide whether to side with the Trump's policies or risk higher costs from US tariffs. BRICS control over 40% of the world's oil exports. If Trump places high tariffs on these countries, oil prices and the US could rise, making gas and energy more expensive for the American families. Trump's trade strategy could put pressure on the BRICS, but it also risks making everyday goods more costly for American consumers. The US dollar versus the BRICS currency moves. For decades, the US dollar has been the main currency used in global trade. BRICS wants to change that by using their own national currencies instead. De-dollarization. Russia and China are leading and pushing for BRICS countries to trade in their own currencies instead of the US dollar. This would weaken America's control over international finance. Trump sees this as a serious threat. His tariff threats are aimed at stopping this trend. However, they could have opposite effects, pushing BRICS nations to strengthen their financial system without the US. The BRICS nations have created their own financial institutions, such as the New Development Bank, which funds major projects without relying on Western banks. If Trump pressures BRICS too much, these alternative financial systems may grow stronger, reducing the power of the US dollar worldwide. If BRICS successfully reduces reliance on the US dollar, American global financial influence could shrink. Trump's challenge will be to stop this shift while keeping trade relationships stable. Trump has always taken a tough stance on China, Russia, and international organizations that challenge the US power. BRICS could become a major focus of his foreign policy. China has the biggest economy in the BRICS, with a 1 trillion trade surplus and the fast-growing economy. If Trump targets China with tariffs, BRICS may unite even more against the US influence. Russia's growing ties with BRICS, US sanctions on Russia after the Ukraine war push Russia closer to BRICS. Russia President Putin supports BRICS, using less US currency in trade. Trump has had a complicated relationship with Russia, and his decision on NATO and Ukraine could affect Russia's role in BRICS. India's balancing act, and India is part of BRICS, but it's also a strong partnership with the US. If Trump imposes stricter tariffs, India may have to choose between keeping close ties with the US or staying committed to the BRICS. The geopolitical tension between Trump's administration and the BRICS could increase globally uncertainty, affecting trade, security, and diplomacy. The BRICS' rising global influence. BRICS is growing stronger by 2029. BRICS' total economic size is to be 38% of the world's GDP, compared to G7's 27%. This means BRICS may soon be more powerful than the traditional Western economies. Challenge to US influence. Institutions like International Monetary Fund, IMF, and the World Bank, which are largely controlled by the US and Europe, may become weaker if BRICS nations choose to operate independently. Even though BRICS is growing and members don't always agree, for example, India and China have long-standing border disputes. Trump could use these divisions to prevent BRICS from becoming too unified. The new BRICS members like Saudi Arabia and the UAE bring power from the oil industry, making the group more and more influential in energy markets. If Trump pressures BRICS too much, these countries may reduce the oil exports to the US, driving up fuel prices, which will affect the American consumer. While BRICS is expanding in influence, Trump may try to weaken alliance by focusing on its international conflicts and using strong economic measures. Outlook for Trump's presidency. Trump's strategy towards BRICS will likely include aggressive trade policies and push to maintain US dominance, but they are both short term and long term risks. The short term wins. If Trump imposes tariffs, some BRIC countries might slow down their plans to create new currency. They may not want to risk losing access to the US market. The long term consequences, a trade war with BRICS, could hurt American businesses as well as consumers. Prices for imported goods could rise, global markets could become unstable, and the BRICS might speed up efforts to create their own financial systems. What impact on the US, the economy? While Trump's base may support a tough approach to BRICS, higher tariffs could lead to inflation, job losses in the US industry that depend on global trade, and weaker economic growth. BRICS is challenging the US dominance, and Trump is ready to fight back with tariffs, economic pressures, diplomatic strategies. However, this battle could reshape the global economy. The question is, will Trump's aggressive approach stop BRICS from growing stronger, or will it push them to reunite even more against the US? Let's hear from you. Do you think Trump's tough trade policies will work, or will they backfire? Leave a comment and let's keep the conversation going. And thanks for watching.